He sent me a screenshot at 2:17 a.m. No context, no caption. Just a blurry image of a quote that said, "Sometimes leaving is the only love you have left to give." I stared at it, confused, until I opened our messages and saw the gray banner. "You can no longer reply to this person. Caleb had blocked me." On everything, my stomach dropped, but not from heartbreak. From strategy, because this wasn't a breakup, it was a performance. One final act in a carefully curated digital theater. He wanted to vanish with a flourish. A poetic quote, an unreadable message, a dramatic block. He thought he was ending the story. But I was just opening it. He blocked my number, my email, and followed me on every platform. Even Venmo. The man I married erased me like a bad post. Like I was an embarrassment, a mistake. But he forgot something critical, something only I remembered. I had access to her Instagram. The one he thought was untouchable. 2 years ago, Brielle asked me for help growing her personal brand. She was a friend of a friend, a small influencer, desperate for reach. I helped her craft her bio, set her email, taught her how to link products. I logged in and saved the credentials. I forgot all about it until now. I hadn't suspected her at first. She was harmless, surface level, all filters and angles. But the way Caleb started defending her lately, the way he called her just young or misunderstood whenever I raised an eyebrow, it had weight, and now it had motive. I opened the Instagram app, logged in with the saved email and password. My hands were trembling, but not from fear, from certainty, from that deep, bone-level intuition that whispers, "You were right all along." The screen loaded slowly, as if it knew what I was about to see would change everything. He blocked me everywhere, but the internet remembers. And when it opened, it wasn't just selfies and sponsored posts. It was a digital diary of betrayal. DMs, saved drafts, archived stories. His name everywhere, his voice and her captions. My heartbreak echoed in hashtags I didn't write. My life had been rewritten without me. I stared at the screen as my vision blurred, not from tears, but from fury. This wasn't a mistake. It was a narrative. A rebranding of himself as the victim, the misunderstood romantic. While I was painted as the cold wife who didn't get it, he didn't just cheat. He campaigned. That screenshot he sent? It wasn't for me. It was for the audience he'd built, the followers, the friends, the filtered lie. He wanted to be the one who walked away wounded. He wanted sympathy. But what he gave me, what he left behind, was the key to unravel it all. And I was done playing silent. He blocked me. But he forgot who helped write her captions and who never logs out without receipts. I met Caleb in a bookstore, the kind with crooked shelves and tea-stained windows. He was holding a collection of essays, and I made a joke about the author being overrated. He smiled, said, "Convince me otherwise." That was his thing, inviting disagreement like it was intimacy, and I mistook that for depth. We were fast. Nights spent building Spotify playlists, kissing in the frozen aisle of midnight grocery runs, pretending we were the only people who ever found magic in the mundane. He told me I made him feel seen. I didn't know he meant as a mirror. A place to reflect back what he wanted to believe about himself. He was magnetic. Everyone said so. That rare mix of funny and thoughtful, ambitious and grounded. And maybe that's true, but charm is just performance wrapped in affection. It feels like love until you realize it's scripted, and I was the perfect co-star. Smart, loyal, careful not to outshine him. We got married in a courthouse, just the two of us, and a blurry selfie. No spectacle, no noise. That's how he liked it. Our love is private, he said. But what he meant was invisible. No witnesses, no accountability. No one to see the shift when he started rewriting our story without me. At first, we built something real. We shared passwords, laughed in bed over dumb memes, made chili on Sundays. He'd send me articles in the middle of meetings. Thought of you, he'd write. I held on to those things. Like proof, like receipts, like maybe if I collected enough memories, it would outweigh the silence that started creeping in. Then came the distance. The vague answers, the work trips that didn't match his calendar. The mood swings dressed as exhaustion. I asked if something was wrong. He said, I was being sensitive. He said, can we just have a normal night? And suddenly, I was the one ruining the moment. Brielle came later, through a mutual friend's launch party. She was loud, pretty, a little too interested in the married man who didn't wear his ring often enough. I introduced myself with grace. Offered to help with her brand, Caleb said, you're good at this stuff. I smiled. I didn't know I was trading my replacement dot at the time. I didn't see her as a threat. She was performative, curated, two-dimensional, but Caleb liked that she needed an audience. He needed control. It was a perfect match. And I was just the woman folding laundry while they exchanged inside jokes on Instagram. That the truth is, I stopped feeling chosen long before the betrayal. I felt tolerated, managed, muted, like I was just one more tab in his browser open, always there, but never really looked at. And still, I tried. I dressed up. I planned date nights. I asked, are we okay? He said yes. But his eyes said later, we went to therapy once. He was charming, articulate. The therapist said we needed shared goals. He nodded. I cried in the car while he scrolled on his phone. Said, let's not do that again. And we didn't. I didn't realize I was alone until I stopped reaching for his hand during movies. Until his touch felt like interruption. Until the smell of his cologne made my stomach tighten, not flutter. That's the thing about slow exits, you don't see them happening until the door's already closed. Even then, I wanted to believe we could recover. That love was enough. That loyalty meant something. That the history we built could hold the weight of one rough season. But some people don't want partnership. They want a mirror. And the second you stop reflecting what they admire, they replace you. He said I made him feel seen. I didn't know he meant as a mirror. It started with the stories, innocent at first, Brielle tagging Caleb in group dinners, just friends at launch events, inside jokes and captions. I tried not to spiral. I told myself not every post was a clue. But suspicion doesn't need proof. It just needs repetition. And Brielle was everywhere. I brought it up casually. She tags you a lot. Caleb shrugged. She tags everyone. She's just like that. But his face tightened when I asked if she ever crossed the line. She's young, he said. Don't be one of those jealous wives. I wanted to let it go, but the way he defended her felt personal. Then came the late texts. Just work, he said. But his smile was different, half distracted, like he was always in two places at once. He'd laughed to himself, staring at his phone. I asked what was funny. Nothing you'd get, he said. Like I was too old to square to. Outside whatever private world he was building, he started spending more time off-grid. No updates. No calls back. Weekend errands that lasted hours. One Sunday, he said he was at a coffee shop writing. I drove past on instinct. No sign of him. Just an empty seat and a cold lie. When I asked, he got defensive. You don't trust me anymore, he said. And suddenly, I was the problem. The intimacy faded in subtle ways. He stopped complimenting me, stopped asking about my day, stopped noticing when I wore red. The color he used to say made me look immiscible. I became background noise, present, but never acknowledged. And yet, I still waited for him to turn around. One night, I found a receipt in his jeans, a hotel inn. Our away team retreat, he said, but there was no charge on the company card. I checked his calendar. No event. I asked for photos. He said they didn't take any. It wasn't that kind of thing. And my heart dropped. He started dressing differently. A sudden interest in cologne, new shoes, the kind of attention to detail he hadn't shown in years. I joked about it once, hoping for lightness. You trying to impress someone?" He smiled. Maybe he meant it as a joke. But I couldn't laugh. He changed passwords. Nothing dramatic, just small things. Security, he said. Work stuff, I didn't push. But I started saving everything. Screenshots, emails, moments. I stopped trusting words and started documenting actions. Because something was wrong, and it wasn't going away. Brielle posted a video of them at a party. Caleb's hand on her back, brief but clear. I showed it to him. I didn't know she posted that, he said. No apology, no regret, just a neutral tone, like I was overreacting. You really think I'd cheat? He asked. I didn't answer. I just watched him blink to slowly. I started having dreams of empty beds, of text messages that never sent, of Instagram photos with captions I couldn't unread. My body was catching up to what my heart already knew. He was drifting. And the woman he was drifting toward didn't even have to try. Because I had already taught her how to win. Tess asked me once, "Do you think it's physical?" I said, "No, but I wasn't sure." Sometimes emotional betrayal hits harder because it's slow. Because you watch them fall in love with someone else in real time. And no matter how loud your silence gets, they stop listening anyway. I found one of Brielle's TikToks. She quoted a message that sounded familiar. He said, "I see the parts of him no one else does." He said that to me once. Word for word. And that's when I realized I wasn't being paranoid. I was being recycled, but I stayed, not because I believed him, but because I needed to be absolutely sure before I set everything on fire. The message came on a Tuesday, buried between junk emails and calendar reminders. From Caleb, a screenshot, just an image cropped, filtered, staged. A quote over a black background, white serif letters spelling, "You can't heal in the place." That broke you. I stared at it, confused. Then I checked our texts. Gone. All of them. Every thread. Every "I love you." Every fight. Every late night check-in. Deleted. And above where his name used to be was now a sentence that gutted me. "You can no longer send messages to this user." He'd blocked me, my husband, my partner, like I was. Spam. I froze. My hands cold, mouth dry. I opened Instagram, blocked Twitter, blocked email, bounce back. He'd disappeared. Not physically, digitally, which, in this world, felt worse. It felt like erasure, like I'd been voted off the island of a life I helped build. No warning, no goodbye, just a quote and a wall. I paced the apartment. Checked the drawers. His favorite hoodie was gone. His laptop, toothbrush, half the closet. Like he'd packed a week ago and I just hadn't noticed. I sank to the floor, the air thick with disbelief. Not sadness yet, just disbelief. I kept thinking, this isn't real. This can't be how it ends. I called Tess, voice shaking. He blocked me. She didn't respond for a second. Then she said, "Okay, breathe. What did he leave behind?" I looked around. Nothing. Not even a note. Just the echo of his absence. Just that final screenshot, sent like a performance to a silent audience. I pulled up Brielle's profile. It was still public, and there it was, the answer. A story posted 2 minutes ago, her holding a wine glass, captioned, "When someone finally chooses you." My blood turned electric. I tapped through. Slide after slide of her in a hotel room I didn't recognize, and then him. Not directly, just a shoulder, his shoes. A voice in the background, "Turn it sideways." My voice would have known him in the dark. He didn't just leave me, he celebrated it. On her profile, with followers, with filters, with fire emojis, and fake vulnerability. That was the moment everything changed. Not when he left, not when he blocked me, but when I realized I'd been replaced before he ended it. That I was just a loose end he needed to cut with a poetic quote. That he'd been building their story while I was still trying to fix ours. I felt the pain rise like water in my throat, thick and breathable. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Then I washed my face, stared at my reflection, and asked, "How long have I been gone?" Because surely a woman who was present who was seen would have noticed the disappearing act much earlier. I crawled into bed that night fully dressed, phone on my chest, still open to her profile. Watching it refresh, watching her audience react, hearts, comments, applause, while I lay there invisible, humiliated, forgotten in my own marriage. But under that pain was something else. Not rage, not yet, just the seed of a question. How far was he willing to go to bury me? And how far was I willing to go to bring the truth back to light? I stopped eating. I stopped replying. I stared at screens like they might blink first. My body kept moving. Shower, feed the cat, check the locks, but my mind looped on repeat. He blocked me. He celebrated with her. He erased me. Every app I opened reminded me that I was no longer invited to my own life. Tess tried to pull me back, brought me soup, offered to crash on the couch. "You need to fight back," she said, but I wasn't ready. Not yet. I wasn't even sure who I was without him. I'd spent years building a partnership, and suddenly I was just the ghost of a deleted thread. I kept scrolling. Real stories got bolder. A soft launch became a highlight reel. Him in shadows, his shoes by her bed, 2 glasses on the table. "Finally free," she wrote under one video. Free from what? I wanted to scream. A wife who cooked for him, a home he never had to clean. I opened my notes app and started listing everything I gave, everything I covered, his taxes, his resume, his mother's birthday cards. Every moment he forgot, I remembered. Every plan he ignored, I organized. I wasn't his wife. I was his infrastructure. The pain wasn't sharp. It was heavy, like wet clothes on skin you can't take off. Like walking through a fire that won't burn fast enough. I screamed into a towel. I punched the mattress. I replayed the last conversation we had before he left, so normal it made me sick. He kissed me on the forehead. He kissed me goodbye. And I didn't even know it. I kept picturing them together laughing at my expense. Her asking, did she suspect anything? Him shaking his head. Them reading my old texts and laughing. I imagined them crafting their perfect post-breakup narrative. He tried. She didn't see him. Now he's healing. And she gets to be the reward for his bravery. The rage finally broke through the fog. Not the kind that shouts, the kind that strategizes. I wiped my face, opened my laptop, and created a folder, reclamation. Inside, I dragged every screenshot, every email, every photo. My wedding video, our vows, the truth, my truth. I contacted a lawyer. Asked about digital rights, what I could. Say what I could share, what constituted defamation and what counted as defense. She told me the same thing Tess did. You own your story. And that sentence planted a matchstick in my chest. Because this wasn't heartbreak. It was digital warfare. And he'd started it. I woke up early, opened the laptop, and dove into her Instagram account. The one he forgot I still had access to. I scanned Dima's drafts, archived stores, anything that held breadcrumbs. And that's when I saw it. A hidden message thread between Caleb and Brielle, dated weeks before the screenshot. Intimate, apologetic, planning to pause things with me. He didn't just dump me, he ghosted me for her. Scrolling deeper, I found voice memos. His voice, whispered apologies, declarations of love, promises. To her own voice. I paused one. His words echoed. You're the only one who gets me. My blood froze. He'd been rehearsing this script for months and I was the one who gave him the pen. I called Lena, told her what I found. She arrived with more receipts, metadata from phone backups, image timestamps designed to gaslight me. She pieced together where they were, a weekend getaway. My face heated, my fists clenched. I just smiled. Because he forgot who taught her how to log in. Then came the public angle. I downloaded screenshots of her public stories, the coffee cup with our initial napkin, a throw pillow from our living room. Not enough to incriminate legally, but enough to stake a claim. A reclamation of stolen narrative. I drafted a message. Thanks for the memories, for what's yours and what's mine. I posted that single story on my own handle, no names. Just the shared objects and his voice and text. Hundreds of messages poured in, questions, support, shock. She commented under her own story with a tear emoji. That was the first crack in their illusion. Meanwhile, his demons to her got more desperate. I didn't know how to say goodbye. I wanted it to be real. I'm sorry you're caught in it. He was begging her, not me. I saved those too. His final apology, archived, browbeaten, transparent. I compiled everything, screenshots, voice notes, visuals, and sent a digital cease and desist through my lawyer. I wasn't seeking drama. I was enforcing my reality. I would no longer be erased. He thought he could ghost me online. He thought he could bury me behind an influencer's filter. But he forgot who taught her how to log in and never unlinked the truth. I stepped back from the screen, pulled the baby blanket I still kept folded in my closet, the one he sent me earlier as a reminder of our different paths, and draped it over my shoulders. This time, it wasn't for comfort. It was shield. I wrapped myself in history he couldn't delete. I was done letting him script the narrative. I didn't post rage. I posted receipts. Screenshots of overlapping trips, voice notes with his contradictions. Side-by-sides of captions he fed to both of us. I blurred names, left dates. Let the audience do the math. I didn't scream my truth. I published it. Soft tone, sharp edges. It spread fast. People love a love story, but they live for the unmasking. Within hours, her comments flooded. Is this about Caleb? Wait, is this the guy from Jenna's photos? And just like that, the illusion cracked, not because I yelled, because I showed. Because proof doesn't shout, it whispers with precision. Brielle turned off her comments, then her account, then turned it back on with a vague apology. Sometimes we hurt people we never meant to. I screenshotted it, replied, you meant to. You just didn't think I'd still have the login. My inbox exploded. Sympathy, applause, other women. He emailed me. Subject line, please stop. I opened it, heartcom. You've made your point, he wrote. You've ruined my reputation. I replied with 2 words, you started. I didn't need revenge. I needed truth in motion, and now it was. Moving like a current he couldn't swim against, I contacted brands she worked with, sent them my documentation, quietly, professionally, with timestamps. Her numbers dropped, 2 sponsors pulled out. I didn't celebrate, I just watched, because silence is louder when it's intentional. And justice is heavier when it's personal. My final move was poetic. I scheduled a post on what would have been our anniversary. A carousel, photo 1, our wedding invite. Photo 2, the quote he sent in the breakup screenshot. Photo 3, a screenshot of his demons to her, timestamp 2. Weeks before he left, caption, truth ages better than filters. The comments flooded in. Some angry, some heartbroken, some grateful. Strangers wrote, thank you for not staying silent. Old friends messaged, I wish I had your courage, but I wasn't brave. I was clean. I'd washed the lies off in public light. He lied. Online, I exposed him the same way. Tess brought champagne. We toasted to digital karma and women who own their voices. He underestimated you, she said. I smiled. He trained me, I answered. And we laughed, not because it was funny, but because I'd finally rewritten the ending. There's power in reclaiming your name, in refusing to be the casualty of someone else's reinvention. He blocked me. But I built a bridge out of every wall he tried to throw up. Now the world sees him clearly, not through my words, but through his own. I deleted his contact, archived the wedding photos, burned the printed ones in Tess's backyard with a glass of wine in hand. It wasn't spite. It was ceremony. A symbolic ending to a story that had tried to write me out of my own life. I wasn't angry anymore, just clean, just ready. My apartment feels bigger now, lighter. I replaced the couch we picked together. Painted over the wall, he said, was too loud. Hung a print above my bed that says, "No one gets to mute me again." It's simple, but it makes me feel louder than I've ever been. Brielle never responded to my last message. But I didn't need her apology. I needed her silence. Her sudden stillness was all the validation I required. She stopped performing, he stopped pretending. And I finally stopped doubting my own perception. I started sleeping again, real sleep. Not the kind where your body rests, but your soul rehearses every conversation. My dreams are quiet now, not empty, just peaceful. No more digital ghosts waiting to ambush me in the dark. No more notifications that feel like threats. Caleb moved cities, from what I heard. Tried to rebrand again, but it's hard to rebrand. When your past is documented, when the truth is archived in pixels and witnesses. He crafted the perfect illusion. I shattered it with truth. I didn't just survive the betrayal, I evolved through it. I stopped asking why me and started saying never again. I rebuilt my business. Got new clients, ones who respected my voice and paid on time. I'm still the strategist I always was, only now. I don't build empires for men who think I'm disposable. Sometimes I miss the girl who fell in love in that bookstore. The one who believed in eye contact and quiet coffee mornings. But then, I remember, she wasn't naive. She was trusting, and trust isn't weakness. It's what makes betrayal powerful and healing possible. I still had the quote he sent me. The one that was supposed to be his mic drop. I printed it and hung it on my fridge with a note beneath it. You didn't leave out of love, you left. Out of cowardice, but I loved myself enough to stay. My final post went viral. Not because it was vengeful, but because it was honest. I ended with this. Sometimes the closure you're waiting for is just the truth with a backbone. And the comments still roll in. Women, men, survivors, mirrors of me. I didn't need a reply from him. I didn't need a confession. I just needed to know I wasn't the villain in my own story. And now, the only thing he ever taught me that stuck was how to vanish.